Hi girls, how are you? Is this the Woodward School?
Right here. Yeah.
And what other school do I have here?
Hanover.
Where?
Hanover.
Hanover. Oh, you're very local to me. Do I know any of you? Do you know Haley Martin? Do you know? Yeah, okay. All right, so I don't have my PowerPoint today, but that's okay. I've been doing fine without it, just bear with me. So I guess what I'll start with is my name and what I do. First of all, how are all of you? You're having a good day? Are you learning a lot? Yeah? Well, it's questionable. Some of you look like maybe not. So my name is Maria Wood, and I own Fashion Focus Program in Pembroke, and I also own MW Productions. Okay, I have two companies. I'm an entrepreneur. I started them 17 years ago. Hi, Lisa. I started them 17 years ago, and let me just tell you briefly about what each one does. Okay, Fashion Focus is a program of my heart. It's an empowerment program for girls. I've been recently called the Teen Empowerment Advisor. I was on NBC News recently, and that's the title that they gave me, and I kind of liked it. I liked how it stuck. So when somebody says, what do you do? I help empower girls, and we'll explain that in a minute. So Fashion Focus, and you might say, why is it Fashion Focus? Well, I'm a professional model, and I have been since I was very young. And I struggled with my self-confidence and my self-esteem throughout the years. But I remembered the things that I learned on the runway really helped me in real life. I remember being very young going, you know what, if I'm going to do this modeling thing, I just have to kind of be who I am. I can't look at the girl next to me or think she's prettier or better. You just have to kind of own it. So all of the techniques that I used sort of came into play when I had kids. I have 3 kids. I have a daughter, Alexandra, who's 28. I have a daughter, Gabrielle, who's 25. They're both professionals in Boston. And I have a son, 21. His name is Gregory, and he is a United States Marine stationed in California. So the birth of my children sort of slapped into my mind here, you better get yourself together. So the confidence thing, the confidence struggle, I started to take hold of it a lot more. And after my 3rd child was born, Gregory, that's when I started Fashion Focus, and I used the techniques that I had learned to empower myself. I thought, there's something to what I've done. There's something to how I've gotten myself to this place. So I started Fashion Focus, and I thought, the runway made me feel powerful. So I used the runway at Fashion Focus as a tool. So every girl who steps up onto the runway feels beautiful. You walk up, you present yourself, you own it. And the practice of owning it translates into your everyday life. So Fashion Focus, we take girls from 5 to 18. I also do private lessons for all ages, adults included. MW is it's my production company, and I produce fashion events. Plain and simple, I produce events. Photo shoots, runway fashion shows, Boston Fashion Week. It's been fantastic. It's something that I never imagined myself getting into. It sort of just came to be from owning Fashion Focus, from being in the fashion industry, from being a model myself. I learned things, and now I get paid to take that knowledge and put it to use for other people. So that's a little bit about MW and Fashion Focus. I'm going to have to go to my notes here and put my glasses on. So I want to ask you girls to all stand up. Everybody stand up. All right, so confidence is what we speak of at Fashion Focus. Posture is first and foremost. When we talk about presence, my presentation is all about a successful you. These are 3 words I want you to remember. Powerful, present, and prepared. Powerful, present, and prepared. Now, when you are shy or insecure, our body language sometimes will show that. We cross our arms in front, we do this, we slouch, we look down, okay? Now, what I try to do with girls who are struggling with their inner confidence is to fake. You kind of fake it till you become it. You have to go, you know what? And I was just saying to the other class, when I was 23 or 24, I was very sad. I had very little self-confidence. My self-esteem was, I thought I was ugly. I thought I was invisible. I felt powerless. I looked at other girls and thought, they're so much prettier than I am. I'm just, ugh. It was sad. And I became kind of a drag to myself even to be around. So I remember, but I was a model, right? Which was crazy. I was paid to be on the runway, but I couldn't feel that way in my own life. So I remember and I'm tall. You all, I don't know if you can all tell, but I'm 5'10" and a half without heels. I'm about 6'2" right now. And I love wearing heels. And I realize that people stare at me because I'm so tall, and I don't care. But I used to. And so I would walk down the mall back in the day, and if it was a public place, and I would be kind of like, you know, just in my own little world looking down, and if I noticed that somebody was staring at me, I immediately thought they were staring at me because I was ugly. I was too tall. Maybe something was wrong with my outfit. I wasn't fashionable enough, and it was insane. And I finally said to myself, you gotta stop. I did, because we talk about in Fashion Focus all the time, confidence is not given, it's earned. You have to earn it. Your mother can't give it to you. Your dad can't compliment you away and make you feel beautiful. Your teachers believe in you. Your coaches believe in you. But do you believe in yourself? And I had that moment where I thought, I don't. So I needed to empower myself. So one day I woke up and I was tired of being sad. Really, I was depressed. And I decided next time I was out in public, I was going to walk down the mall, and instead of thinking that everybody's staring at me because I'm ugly, I would make the conscious decision and the conscious thought in my head to be like, they're staring at me because I'm beautiful. And that's all I did. I walked, and I walked like I had somewhere to go. And I looked ahead, and I pretended in the beginning like I was walking on a runway, because it empowered me. It made me feel better. And I didn't care who was staring at me at that point. The only person I cared about was how I felt. Okay? So, everybody stand up straight now. Presence is so important. Chin up, eyes straight ahead, tight core, and I want your feet together. You might need to give each other a little chicken wing room, because we're going to go there. We're going to go powerful. So I need you all to spread out. Power posing. I did it here last year. I didn't invent it. Amy Cuddy from Harvard invented power posing. She did a study. She did one of the most famous TED Talks ever. And I use it, and I believe in it, and it's what actually makes me feel legitimate. I've been walking on a runway and teaching girls on the runway for 17 years. And they would go down to the end of the runway, and they would pose. And that feeling, that charge that you get from coming to a powerful pose lifts you up. So you ready? We're going to do, I don't know if it's 4 or 5 poses. Feet together. First one's my favorite, Wonder Woman. And do it. You got to do it all the way, and I want you to continue looking at me. Everybody look at me. Don't look at each other. Don't feel self-conscious. We're all doing this together. Now I want you to do Pride. Now this is my favorite. And every little girl that I have ever done this around, at first they're like, who is this weird lady who's doing Wonder Woman poses? And then I get to strength, and then they all get it. They all look and they smile. Everybody do strength for me. Strength. I know, you need more room here. Finally, and this is when they smile big, victory. Now we're going to do it again, and let's do it like we mean it. Feet together. Wonder Woman. Pride. Strength. Victory. All right. Now, stay standing, feet together again. I need a volunteer. Come up on stage. Powerful, present, prepared. Remember those words. You girls are at an age where you're interviewing for jobs. You might be interviewing for college. One of the best impressions you can make on a person, regardless of how shy you feel inside, is to show a powerful presence. Ready? We're going to introduce ourselves to each other. Hi, my name is Maria. What's your name?
I'm Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Perfect. So that was a personal introduction. We are holding hands, but we're not like noodly. We're not like, I've actually had adults take their left hand to shake my hand. It's right hand to right hand, 2 pumps, good eye contact. Confident people smile. Okay? Confident people also know that this is invading somebody's personal space. So you want to have a good amount of personal space and say, nice to meet you back. Thank you. What's your name again?
Rachel.
Rachel, nice to meet you. Now turn to the person next to you. Practice this now. Stand up tall, and if you need to do it to other, no, you can. All right. right, everybody, practice. Now face me again. Girls, I'm going to give you a little assignment. By the end of this, you better know some of these answers. Start thinking about, because confidence is a belief in yourself. Start thinking about who you are. When you go into a job interview, they might ask you a very simple question. Tell me a little bit about yourself. I do private lessons with girls of all ages, and I'll ask that very simple question. They're like, oh, I don't know. I have a brother and a sister. I live in Hanover, and I like to ride bikes or whatever. Tell me a little bit about yourself means dig deep. I want to know 3 words to describe who you are. I'm going to ask you randomly in a little bit. So start thinking, processing. Who are you? Now, stand up straight for me again. Everybody chin up. Now, remember what you were like when you were 5, 6, or 7. Do you remember that, little girl? Do you remember? Or how about you have a cousin or a little sister who's 5 or 6 or 7? They're fearless. 7-year-olds are like, they jump off the highest part of the monkey bars. They dive into a pool without even thinking about it. Fear doesn't seem to factor into their thoughts when you're young. Then suddenly you become older. You become 10, 11, 12, and you're suddenly this shrinking little person that just kind of hovers in, doesn't want to be noticed. Do you all remember junior high? How awful was junior high? Socially, it can be awkward, but my point is this. Your fearlessness goes away because all you want to do is fit in. We lose you a little bit, and suddenly we need to build you back up. So confidence is something that you girls have to work at daily. And believe me, trust me when I tell you, your parents are not lying to you. They think you're beautiful because you are beautiful. They think you're smart because you are smart. Listen to them because they know what they're talking about. So try to remember that fearless girl that you were when I want you to step outside of your comfort zones, okay? So everybody take a seat for me. Take a seat. Many, many things I want to. So confidence is believing in yourself. We just did power posing. Presence. Powerful presence. Social situations. Who here feels awkward in social situations? Meeting new people. Raise your hand if it's super awkward meeting new people. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, please raise your hand if you feel like your self-confidence is somewhere below 6. Okay. And you know what? It's kind of natural, it's normal, but guess what? You have to change that. Confident girls walk into situations and they are dynamic and they're present and they might be nervous, but they don't let it show. So I want you girls to think about some things. Are you still thinking about the words to describe yourself? Okay. Confidence. I just lost my train of thought here because I don't have my my notes. Okay, so social situations, meeting new people, fearlessness, things like that. No, you need to be mature when you're in these new situations. Maturity is huge. Introductions, we just did it, and tell me a little bit about yourself. These are things that I want you girls to start working on as you're getting ready for preparing for college. Now, pushing your limits, getting outside of your comfort zone is super important. Who here feels like when they're in school, another girl walks in, a pretty girl you think is prettier than you? Who here feels less pretty when she walks in the room? Who here feels less secure when somebody who's smarter than you perceive smarter than you, better at sports than you? Raise your hand and be honest. I have a couple of girls. So here's what I have advice for you for this, girls. And I say it, I have a girlfriend who's my age. I'm 53. My girlfriend is 55. And she has kids like I do. And she says to me all of the time, I just went to so-and-so and she has a BMW. How come I don't have a BMW? What am I doing wrong that I don't have a BMW? First of all, that's crazy. But she's always looking at what everybody else has and then wondering why she doesn't have it. And I tell her all the time, and she's a good friend of mine, stay in your lane, Chris. When you start looking at what other people are doing, you are taking away your gifts and your power. The most important thing that I can tell you girls to do today is focus on your goal. Don't watch what everybody else is doing because it will undermine your goal. Be sure of where you're going, be proud of where you're going, and do not compare yourself to other people because comparison is the thief of joy. As soon as you start saying that she's prettier than me, you have completely given away power. Okay? So stay in your lane. That's an important part. Be fearless. Take initiative. Practice makes better. It doesn't make perfect. And define your own path and take the initiative. Surround yourself with positivity. Who here has a lot of friends? Have a lot of girlfriends? Here's the thing about having a big group of friends. Sometimes there's a difference between somebody who makes you feel good and somebody who kind of puts you down. Has anybody ever been in a situation where their friend group maybe doesn't feel super positive? So my advice is bye-bye, show them the door. The sooner you get rid of the negative people in your life, the more that you can focus on what you need to do and your confidence goals. Define your own path, take initiative, surround yourself with positivity, and here are some key qualities of success. Emote. What does it mean to emote? What does it mean to emote? Anyone? Come on, you're all smart girls. What does emote mean? What do you think it means? No, shoot, she called on me. What does it mean to emote? I'm kind of giving you a clue. Give off, okay? Don't be so stoic and so weirded out that people are going to be looking at you or talking to you or calling on you that you don't emote, okay? So I want you girls to emote, be dynamic, be approachable, be aware, be accountable. Now there's another thing that be responsible, stay driven, all of those things. But my marketing director, Britt, recently sent out, she's my, Lisa knows her. Some of my Woodward girls might remember Britt, right? She just sent out an email for me. We send out social media emails and stuff like that. A lot of people think that I'm making models at Fashion Focus. So I counter with, I'm not trying to make models, I'm trying to make model citizens, okay? So in that light, we sent out an email. You probably hear all the time. You probably hear us all the time. We help grow Model Citizen, not models. In his article, Model Citizen for Entrepreneur Magazine, Guy Kawasaki defines a model citizen as a mensch. Someone to admire and emulate, someone of noble character. According to him, to qualify for this type of personhood, one has to live by 5 laws. Number 1, help those who cannot help you. Number 2, help without expectation in return. That's a big one. A lot of you girls sometimes feel like, well, I said I would volunteer and I volunteered for 2 hours, so why aren't they ready to pay me yet? Don't do it with anything in return. Volunteer, give of yourself without any expectation in return. Number 3, help many people. That's what we do. Number 4, do the right thing the right way. And number 5, pay back society. It's not daunting. It doesn't have to be. Those are easy things. Who here volunteers? What are some of the things you volunteer to do? You're right there in the striped shirt. Yes?
There are these Christmas parties at my school every year. And most of the time, since I came here to the school, I volunteer for them. Sometimes we're giving out presents.
Nice, nice. So what other volunteer work do we do here? What do you do for volunteer work?
I volunteer at the summer program at my old school.
You do? Good. Anybody else volunteer? What do you do?
With student council, they go to the Cardinal Christian in Hanover.
Oh, say that again?
The Cardinal Christian in Hanover.
Yeah, Cardinal Christian. I'm very much affiliated with them. What do you do? Do you just kind of go for like a...
Last year we did they had the walk around the things.
Yeah.
Without food.
What does it make you feel like when you volunteer? Does it feel like work, like drudgery?
No,
What does it feel like?
that just you're helping someone else and making them feel happy.
Right. So I have a lot of students, though anxiety is kind of a buzzword in today's society. A lot of girls feel anxious. Who here gets anxious? Right? Okay. We're living in a very anxiety-riddled world right now. You go on the news, you go on social media, there's not a lot of good things happening. It does make you anxious. But sometimes the things that I think girls are thinking about too much is the anxiety of life itself. Will I be good enough? Will I be smart enough? Will I be popular enough? Will Josh like me enough? Or whatever it is. Is my prom dress pretty enough? Those things we can control. Okay, so the thing about anxiety is what I tell girls who come to see me for private lessons is that you can control the results. All you have to do is step outside of your head and do something nice for somebody else. It literally is the foundation of what I do at Fashion Focus, and it's what brought me to a better understanding of my confidence. When I started giving to others selflessly and seeing the joy that it brought them, what many people will say is that volunteering and giving back, people think you're helping them, but what they don't realize, and those Cardinal Cushing kids don't realize, is they're helping you more. And that's the gift of volunteering. So get out of your head sometimes. Stop with the I'm nots. How about all the I ams? I even had this conversation with my daughter. She's 28, and she has so many things to be proud of. But I hear a negative tone every time I talk to her. I wish, she's on Instagram way too much. Who here has social media? Who here feels like it's a little bit, it's a good thing and a bad thing? Okay, we know intellectually social media is manipulated. We know the images that we see are manipulated. The girls have those little apps on their phone now, and they can make their waist skinnier and their skin perfect. They can raise their eyes or whatever it is. But even knowing that, when we see the visual and we're just scrolling and scrolling, we can't unsee. It has already implanted in our brain. So the intellectual and the emotional battle becomes tough. So get off of social media sometimes. Do yourself a favor and concentrate on you and do something good for somebody else, okay? I don't know how much time I have left. I'm sort of in the dark here. Okay.
About 5 minutes.
Okay, so I want you girls to be responsible, to stay driven, and maintain realistic expectations. Here's another thing that I want you to realize as your sophomores and juniors in high school. Who here knows what they want to do for a living? What do they want to go to college for? Can you just scream it out for me? What do you want to do with the...
I want to do either fashion design or marketing.
Fashion design or marketing. Give me some other things that you girls want to do. Fashion design or marketing. Who else? Somebody else had their hand up. Just tell me. Yes.
Social work,
Social work. What else?
accounting,
Accounting.
international business.
International business. I don't even know what that means. That's so fascinating to me. International business. Very good. Anybody else over here? What do you want to do when you volunteered for Cardinal Cushing? What do you want to do when you go to college? No, it's a lot of pressure. What's that? A teacher. Yeah. What about you? Yeah.
I'm not sure yet.
You're not sure. Are you a sophomore or a junior? Sophomore. Yeah, I know it's a ways off right now. But what I want you to remember is that if you really want something, you have to put the work in to get it and volunteer to shadow somebody. One of the best things, I have a staff of 8 or 10 people, right? And when most of the people who work for me have come and sought me out. And I find that so compelling. I find that amazing. And I want people working for me that want to work for me, that pursued me. So make sure, sorry about that. Make sure that you, in your craft, whatever it is that you decide to do, you put in some time and effort into it. I would love to hear from any of you girls, especially the girls who are interested in fashion. I'm all about it. I mean, it's all I do. I do photo shoots. I do, I said Boston Fashion Week, designer, couture, anything you want to know about business. And believe me, I've learned a lot. One of the girls, do you have any questions for me? I guess is what I would ask first, because the other girls ask me questions. You're a quieter group. I don't know if it's just the end of the day and everybody's a little bit tired, but any questions that you have for me that you could think of that how I could help you in your pursuit of whatever, or just something that I've already mentioned about confidence or my journey. Yes?
What is it like being in the fashion industry, and how hard is it?
The fashion industry is such a big umbrella. So that's, first of all, that's a good thing. You know, you think there's modeling, there's makeup artistry, there's hairdressing, there's designing, there's styling, there's so many things. You could be a photographer's assistant. The hardest thing about my industry, I think the hardest thing about my industry is knowing that it's hard work. Some of the things that I have had to do in production, I'm the boss, right? I'm the owner. I schlep with everybody else. I take boxes. That's another thing that I'm very proud of as an owner, is that I'm never somebody that's sitting on high going, do this for me, do that for me, do that for me. If you're really into what you're doing and you love it, you get right down into the trenches with everybody else. I do not make my staff do what I wouldn't be willing to do. I run a tight ship. And because of that, I have to be ready to lead. And even if it's just hauling boxes or water or whatever it is, it's hard work. And I will tell you, modeling is not as glamorous. I'm sure you've heard this because there's YouTube videos galore now about modeling. But because I've been on both sides of it, I've been in front of the camera and I've been behind the camera, there is very little that's glamorous about it. It's hard work. And it's maintaining a healthy attitude. So I'm not the skinniest girl, and I don't think you need to be skinny. One of the most amazing things that I have recognized lately is the body positivity movement. I am so happy to see that the modeling industry has finally been more accepting of all body types, all skin types, all hair types, whatever. It's become so welcoming. I think we have a long way to go still, but who here feels a little more positive about the modeling industry? Do you see girls that you recognize more? That you can say, hey, she's got a body like I do. Do you see that a little bit more? Does it make you feel a little bit more positive about it? So for me, that's something that I'm very happy to see change. So, any questions from the adults in the back? No? Well, thank you very much for having me. I enjoyed it, and good luck with everything else. Thank you.